Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I've done a devlog for Burning Skies, and part of the reason for that is because the game evolved so rapidly that I barely had time. The game literally went from what you're watching right now to this. So now I'm just gonna go through the footage and try to figure out what I did. So yeah, buckle up. Right, so where was I? I had enemy formations, but I thought it was time to create power-ups. So I started with health, and there it is. With health done, I wanted to focus on making bullet power-ups. But there was one problem. The game was just way too easy. So the obvious next step should be making more enemies, right? Wrong. I decided to make art next. And here's the best I can do. I also had this other problem where I was running out of memory after playing the game for a while, and I kind of decided to make like an entity pooling system that keeps track of how many enemies I have and then just reuses them instead of creating new ones when they're out of bounds. And then I finally started making new enemies. So I started with this one guy that has two firing modes, and this other one that follows you around, and this one which shoots at you. And to add more variety to the mix, this thing that flies from left to right and back again. Somewhere in the middle of all this, I also apparently decided to revamp the main menu screen. And I added this animation to the game over screen as well. After that, I apparently left it here for 20 minutes and then played Raptor for another 10 minutes. It gets a bit confusing. With new enemies, I was feeling pretty good about the game, so I decided to go to a local indie game event where I could get playtesters and feedback. So I was working on creating a few more enemy types and adding more polish. Like these transparent sidebars that are supposed to indicate that you can't get out of there. I could have done opaque, but I wanted the player to be able to see enemies coming out since now they can come from the left and right as well. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to skip ahead now because apparently I don't have any footage from the middle stage. But I can show you what I have now. The game's at version 0.74 now, and it's looking much better if I say so myself. I reworked the menus and some enemy art. Of course, it still needs a lot more work. I also managed to work power-ups back into the game. Now I have 5 different types of power-ups, which include health, shield, firepower boost, and homing bullets, and then a special move. In the master difficulty, I'm using random generation, so that can lead to some embarrassingly uneven gameplay, something I need to work on. And just in case you didn't notice, I added a new soundtrack, so now the game switches between the two. I thought power-ups for firepower would still be a bit overpowering, so to balance it, I made it so that every time you get hit, you lose 1 point of firepower. You also have to collect 5 to get more bullets, and every time you collect one, your firing rate increases, and then once you get more bullets, it resets and repeats until you get to level 25. And this is what I'm really fond of, this pulse attack. And that pretty much summarizes all the updates for this devlog. I do have a lot of planned updates like new enemies, bosses, maybe more power-ups if I can think of them, but definitely weapons, because these games are a lot of fun when you have weapon variety. And then I also plan to introduce accessibility options for, I guess, people who are finding the game too challenging, or who think the game isn't challenging enough. If you've stuck around till now, then thank you so much for watching my video. I'll try to be more consistent with posting these and, more importantly, working on the game. Hopefully, I'll be done with this project by the end of this year. And then, who knows, maybe I'll put it on Steam or something. Already counting my chickens. Anyway, that's it for now. See you next time.